Hello and welcome to this Safe Work New South Wales webinar. The title of this session today is Consultation. And this is one in a series of webinars specifically designed to help construction site supervisors to understand the importance of their roles and the major impact they have on maintaining safe and productive work sites. My name is Gary Colthorpe. I'm a Senior Inspector with Safe Work, and I'll be co-presenting this session with you today with Assistant State Inspector Steve Charles. Thanks for joining us today, Steve.
Yeah, thanks, Gary. It's great to be here.
Certainly is. And Steve and I will alternate through the slide presentation today as we go through. The content of this webinar has been prepared to assist you to understand consultation and what you need to do as a site supervisor, as well as to look at the benefits of consultation. Consultation is a really important part of managing health and safety on a construction site. Wouldn't you agree, Steve?
It certainly is, Gary. And we'll see in the webinar today how consultation in a workplace is a critical component of an effective injury prevention program.
That's exactly right, Steve. And we're really hoping that by the end of this session today, you'll have a good understanding of what's involved in really effective consultation. Okay, so let's make a start by looking at the topics we're going to cover in this webinar. Firstly, we'll look at why consultation is important. What are the benefits? And then we'll look at your responsibilities, what you're required to do by law, the different ways to consult, and then we'll consider how to consult effectively, and then discuss the records you should keep about your consultation activities. So why is consultation such an important issue in the workplace? We'll see later in this presentation that consultation is actually a legal requirement, and it's also an essential part of any effective health and safety management system. Consultation ensures that there is cooperation and coordination between duty holders, which is particularly important where their work activities affect one another. Think of where a builder erects a scaffold and it's going to be used by bricklayers and other trades, for example. Good consultation ensures that each duty holder understands how their work activities will impact on the health and safety of others. In these situations, duty holders should find out who is doing what as early as possible and then work together to manage any hazards associated with their collective work activities. Consultation is also important for drawing on the knowledge and experience of your workers and ensuring that informed decisions can be made about how to undertake the work safely. Management commitment to open and regular communication is also very important to achieve effective consultation. Workers are more likely to engage and consult when they know their knowledge and ideas are being actively sought and their concerns are being taken seriously. Consultation does not mean just telling your workers about health and safety directions after they've been determined. It's a two-way communication where workers are engaged in the process before decisions are made. The benefits of effective consultation include early identification of issues and problems before they result in injury or incident, reduction in worker injuries and lost productivity. Workers' health and safety concerns can be addressed proactively, worker involvement in developing safe systems of work, and the promotion of positive working relationships. All of these outcomes are beneficial to workers and good for business. Now Steve will take us through the next couple of slides in relation to your legal requirements and what the legislation says about consultation. Thanks, Steve.
Yeah, thanks, Gary. Before we go through these next few slides, we have a bit of a disclaimer. This is where we'll talk about some key clauses in the legislation, and we're just going to mention the highlights and paraphrase rather than quote the legislation word for word. This is not legal advice. We're just trying to help you understand a number of the key responsibilities that you need to be aware of in your role as a supervisor. To review all of your legal responsibilities and the full details of these requirements, you'll need to look up the Work Health and Safety Act 2011 and also the Work Health and Safety Regulations 2017, which are both available online. You definitely need to understand the requirements of Section 16 of the Work Health and Safety Act. This section makes it clear that more than one person can have the same duty and must comply with it, even if the other person has that same duty. and each person must discharge their duty to the extent that they have the capacity to influence and control it. So what does this mean for you as a construction site supervisor? It means that if you have the capacity to influence and control health and safety on site, then you have the legal duty to do so, irrespective of whether someone else has that same duty. There can be multiple duty holders on a construction site, such as the principal contractor, project manager, site supervisor, and the subcontractors, supervisors and their workers. And although roles and job descriptions for supervisors may differ from site to site in relation to the tasks they perform, every supervisor has responsibilities when it comes to work health and safety because of their ability to influence and control it on the work site. Therefore, no one in a supervisory role on a work site should ever say that it is someone else's responsibility to manage health and safety. So let's look at Section 46 of the Work Health and Safety Act, where it says that if more than one person does have the same duty, they must consult, cooperate and coordinate their activities with everyone else with the same duty. So think of a principal contractor and the various subcontractors on site, for example. In this case, each duty holder should start the consultation process as soon as they're aware of who the other duty holders are, which will usually be apparent from the contractual arrangements or by just seeing who is present on site. Also, the cooperation and coordination between duty holders should be an ongoing process. So let's look at Section 47 of the Work Health and Safety Act. And it makes it clear that a PCBU, or a person conducting a business, for the purposes of our discussion today, that can be an employer or a business owner, they have a legal duty to consult with workers on health and safety matters and to follow any agreed procedures for consultation. This duty to consult is based on the recognition that worker participation improves decision-making about health and safety matters and assists in reducing work-related injuries and illnesses. It's worth noting that the broad definition of a worker under the Work Health and Safety Act includes employees and anyone else who carries out work for the business or undertaking. So we see from this slide and the previous slide that a PCBU must consult with anyone carrying out work for them and must consult, cooperate and coordinate with any other duty holders in the workplace. So examples of this also include contractors and subcontractors, as well as their employees, labour hire workers, apprentices, trainees, work experience students, and even volunteers. So let's now consider Section 48 of the Work Health and Safety Act. And it makes clear that consultation means the relevant information is shared with workers. They are given the opportunity to express their views and raise health and safety issues. They're able to contribute to the decision-making process and to be advised of the outcome of the consultation in a timely manner. So now let's also consider Section 49 of the Work Health and Safety Act, and that clarifies that consultation about health and safety matters need to occur when, 1, identifying the hazards, assessing the risk, 3, making decisions about ways to eliminate or control those risks, and 4, when changing or updating workplace facilities, 5, when proposing changes that may affect the health and safety of workers, 6, when making decisions about consulting procedures, 7, resolving safety issues, 8, monitoring workers' health and conditions, and lastly, providing information and training. Let's now consider Clause 309 of the Work Health and Safety Regulations. It says that the principal contractor for a construction project has a specific duty to ensure their work health and safety management plan for the project has arrangements in place for consultation, cooperation, coordination between the PCBU at the site. And so the principal contractor must also make sure that the multiple duty holders on a construction site consult with one another. Gary's now going to take us through the various ways to consult.
Thanks, Steve. Consultation with workers can be undertaken in a number of different ways, and consultation agreements will need to take into account the following: the size of the business, the nature of the work carried out, the severity of the workplace hazards, the urgency of decision-making required, and the availability of health and safety representatives. The work arrangements, for example, does it include shift work or remote work, and the characteristics of the workers, including the languages spoken and the literacy levels. When you have established consultation arrangements for your workplace, you'll need to review them on a regular basis to ensure they remain consistent with the requirements of the legislation. Consultation generally occurs through one or more of the following arrangements: through health and safety representatives, a health and safety committee or committees. The other arrangements include toolbox talks, regular site meetings, health and safety, and any other meetings involving health and safety. Or other arrangements include toolbox talks and regular meetings where health and safety matters are discussed. Section 50 of the Work Health Safety Act confirms that if a request is made by at least one worker for the election of a health and safety representative, then the PCBU must ensure that there are working groups with one or more HSR to represent the workers. And Section 75 of the Work Health Safety Act confirms that if a PCBU is requested by 5 or more workers, they must establish a health and safety committee. Keep in mind that consultation must be a two-way process where you seek and share information. The objective of consultation is to make sure that everyone associated with the work has a shared understanding of what the risks are, who will be affected, and how the risks will be controlled. Some practical examples of when consultation is required in construction would include when planning new high-risk work activities to be undertaken on site, or proposing changes to access to the site arrangements, for example, just to name a few. Toolbox talks and pre-start meetings can be used by principal contractors and subcontractors to provide timely health and safety information to their workers about changing conditions on the site and to receive immediate feedback. When using toolbox talks, it's considered best practice to give workers sufficient opportunity to provide input and feedback on how hazards should be controlled, and to monitor the effectiveness of toolbox talks through the control measures implemented and the frequency of near misses. You must share relevant information with your workers about matters that may affect their health and safety. You should make available all the information you have relating to health and safety matters to enable informed and constructive decisions to be made. This information may include health and safety policies and procedures, technical guidance about hazards and risk control measures, hazard reports, and risk assessments. The information should be presented in a way that's readily understandable by the workers. It's also good practice to keep records of consultation to enable you to demonstrate your compliance with the legislation. These records can be brief and simple and cover who was involved, the safety issues discussed, the decisions made, the actions required by who and by when, and the advice to be provided when the action's completed. When safe work inspectors attend a site, we expect to see detailed consultation records that demonstrate compliance with the legislation. Now Steve will take us through the final slides in the presentation to discuss where to find additional resources and how to get in touch with Safe Work New South Wales. Thanks, Steve.
Yeah, thanks, Gary. Yes, one of these additional resources is our podcast series, also known as Safety Casts. They're quite popular. These podcasts are available for different work health and safety topics in construction, including scaffolding, electrical, safety, and working at heights, just to name a few. They involve safe work inspectors discussing these topics and also contain information about additional resources available to the industry. As well as watching our other webinars in this supervisor series, we encourage you to tap into this additional safety cast resource, as they're great for toolbox talks with short, sharp messaging. And they're available online and on many media platforms and apps, including Spotify and also Apple Play. Simply search for Safe Work Safety Cast in your search engine to access the latest of these podcasts. There's also a large amount of guidance material available through the Safe Work New South Wales website. This material will assist you to understand how to maintain high standards of health and safety on your work sites and so reduce workplace injuries. We encourage you to access and read through the information. Simply visit the Safe Work New South Wales website and type your topic search into the search bar. And our Speak Up app allows you to advise us of any unsafe workplace activity you may encounter, and you can remain anonymous. You can actually upload photographs as well. You can also access this app through the Safe Work website. Back to you now, Gary.
Thanks, Steve. So in wrapping up this webinar, we'd like to remind you you can always contact Safe Work on 13 10 50 to seek advice, to report a health and safety concern, or to speak to an inspector about a health and safety matter. Well, Steve, I think that's a wrap. So thanks for co-presenting today, and thank you to everyone who joined us. We really hope you found the information valuable.
Yeah, thanks, Gary. And yes, thank you for joining us today, everyone, and we hope to see you again.